Hello fight fans, in today's news, Brendan Schaub says UFC keeps Conor under wraps. Robert Whittaker thinks Prime GSP would beat Khabib Nurmagomedov. Charles Oliveira's coach reveals Conor's message to Oliveira. Michael Bisping gives his take on Khamzat Chimaev versus Robert Whittaker. Brendan Schaub believes that the reason for Conor's delayed comeback is that the UFC doesn't want to release him from his contract. According to Brendan, Conor wants to fight against Chandler and then leave the organization to pursue boxing with big names. Here's what he said.
When's the fight? You can tell Conor, he's frustrated. He's frustrated, and he's like, I'm waiting for the call, which is insane when it's Conor McGregor. So there's more, again, there's more to that story that we're not getting, But it's going to be International Fight Week. Conor didn't pull that out of his ass. It's going to be Michael Chandler. But I really think Conor just wants to do that one fight and then bounce and make all the money fighting Manny Pacquiao, Jake Paul, Nate Diaz in boxing or MMA in their own promotion in Dublin or wherever. That's what's going on there. The UFC's trying to, do what they do and keep them under wraps. So we'll see what happens. And then to Dana's defense, he also was like, the reason we didn't announce the fight is like he's doing all this promo for his movie. Like that, and he's like, to do a movie like tour promo, like that takes all your attention. Now that that's done, he's gonna go in a legit camp, and then the fight will be announced. He's like, we're just waiting to this movie to, do their thing, and then we'll piggyback on that, and you get a fight announcement. So I'd assume we get a fight announcement pretty soon.
Robert Whittaker recently talked about how the fight between Khabib Nurmagomedov and GSP would go. According to Whittaker, if GSP were his prime, he would likely win. However, if he were not in his best shape, the victory could go to Khabib.
I don't like the idea of non-prime GSP fighting Khabib.
Yeah.
When GSP came back to fight Bisping at middleweight, he looked pretty bad, in my opinion. Obviously, he was good enough to beat. Like he was good still. I just think he's looked better. I feel like he looked like he had a little bit of rust on him.
Yeah.
And I don't like that version versing the Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
I think to beat Khabib, you'd need Prime GSP.
All right. So let's say we did have Prime GSP. Who do you reckon gets
I think
up?
Prime GSP beats Khabib.
Okay.
I think GSP's much more well-rounded.
Yeah.
I think he's got the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu to kind of take away a lot of Nurmagomedov's strengths. And yeah, GSP was like really good, man. Really, really good. He was safe. He was such a safe fighter because of his skill set.
Charles Oliveira's coach said that Conor sent messages to Charles before his fight with Islam Makhachev. According to coach, Conor told Charles to wait for him to come back and not to fight against Islam. But waiting for him was too long, so they fought Makhachev anyway. Here is what he said. He has sponsors. He needs to fight. He needs to work. We just cannot do it. Before Makhachev, Conor texted telling him to wait, not to fight Makhachev. They exchanged direct messages. Conor sent him a video training and running at the beach. If we had waited for him, how long would that have been? We'd be 3 years with no fights already. We can't wait, we need to work. Michael Bisping believes that if Chimaev can't finish Robert Whittaker in the first 2 rounds, it's going to be a disaster night for him. Bisping's reasoning stems from Khamzat's past fights, where he tends to slow down in the later rounds and struggle. Here's what he said.
If I'm not mistaken, this will be the first 5-round scheduled bout for Khamzat Chimaev, which automatically, if you're in the corner of Khamzat Chimaev, you got to be concerned. One thing Robert Whittaker is not going to do is run out of gas. He's very, very experienced, fighting at the highest level for the long time. Without getting into the X's and O's, the obvious thing is Khamzat always gasses. He's a tremendous force of nature. I mean, the way he takes people down and dominates them right from the opening bell. I mean, he did the same thing against Kamaru Usman. Granted, didn't get the finish, but he definitely did slow down. Against Gilbert Burns, same thing. He had a great round 1, 2 and 3 were kind of close. 5 rounds against somebody like Robert Whittaker. If he can't finish him early, that could be a disastrous night for him in Saudi Arabia.
And that wraps today's news. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit the like button and smash the subscribe bell to stay in the loop. Keep supporting the sport, and we will see you in the next one.